should form a club, a brotherhood.
We change the world through the power of art.
Music, poetry.
And what about Tolkien?
I want to write something.
And that Edith represented, Elven Princess within his work that he would go on later to do. For you, kind of learning more about his early years and exploring him and Edith's relationship, what impacted you most?
I really didn't know much about Tolkien other than the stories he created. But about him and Edith, knowing that they were orphans that lived in the same house together and seeing what it is that they inspired one another and encourage each other to do and to be was really fascinating, because seeing the character that she created in the end, or that was inspired by her, kind of distilling that into a woman of this period who had, very little prospects, seeing what she created out of her situation was really interesting, and that she wanted more for herself, but she didn't let that stop her from encouraging him to want more, which it was a very selfless act. I thought that was something really beautiful about her character.
The scenes especially that stood out to me, a little bit of the romance and then the playfulness and the sass that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And I understand that was really captured from the essence of her.
Definitely. There's very little research that one could do on Edith, but what I could find were specific photos of her, and there's this one picture of just her portrait style where very poised, put together, but there's a real cheekiness behind her eyes that I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's not what I was expecting. And then the pictures of the two of them together and in an old age, you just saw that they were this old couple that would nag each other but just really loved one another as well, and they kind of knew each other's quirks and like couple goals, And I really was like, oh, wow. You guys really loved each other and really just knew from an early age, even if it would take you a while to get there. It was a slow burn, and it's one of those relationships I think that a lot of people could write off as just, made in the movies, but it's not. It was real life, and it kind of gives everyone hope that, like, oh, that's possible.
Tell me a story in any language you want.
Don't be ridiculous.
The Legend of Celador.
Did the linguistic side come easy to you? Did you identify with creative, imaginative play?
I mean, the languages aren't my strong point. I got a C in GCSE French, and that was like a multiple choice questionnaire, so it's safe to say that I'm not great with languages. But at the same time, with this, we were lucky to work with a professor at Oxford who kind of developed new languages and with these kind of Nordic and Anglo-Saxon influences. But essentially, I'd have to learn them kind of phonetically. And then just listen to them over and over again, and then kind of repeat, and then parrot, and then learn the meaning behind them again to make it work.
The kind of mantra that there was, the Hellheimer, right? Seize the day, and this idea of getting a little bit pushed out of your comfort zone.
I think hopefully whenever you're on set, there should be someone who's pushing you, whether it's the person you're doing the scene with, or whether it's the director or someone else on set who's just saying, give that a try. Or it can be a simple thing. Sometimes it's the camera operator, because they're the people that are closest to you, and kind of instant feedback, and you kind of develop a shorthand way of communicating with them. So it's like, it's this thing whereby, you've got to kind of push it and then not be scared to fail, because it will go wrong sometimes and things won't work. But even if you make a fool of yourself, hopefully there'll be something in there that within the edit of the film makes sense or works for the character.